Vayakhel. The halachot of Shabbat are given to Bnei Israel, and immediately after, Hashem instructs them to build a Mishkan. The juxtaposition of these two ideas teaches us that the 39 avot malacha of Shabbat are rooted in the actions required to build and maintain the Mishkan. For example, we are prohibited from writing or drawing on Shabbat because in the Mishkan, they would write numbers on the beams to make assembly easier. Another example, many of the prohibitions regarding planting and farming actually come from the work that went into obtaining the various dyes used in detailing the parochet. However, in the Torah Shebechtav, it doesn't get nearly as complex as Masechet Shabbos might imply. After all, it is one of the longest Masechtot in all of Shas. Shmot Parak Lamed He Pasuk Gimel says, Lo tivaru eish b'chol moshvotechem b'yom HaShabbat. So you shall not kindle a fire in any of your dwelling places on Shabbat. The Torah gives exactly one of the 39 malachot, and it doesn't even expound on that halacha. Why not? Why wouldn't the Torah, at the very least, list the most basic malachot? And why does the Torah pick this malacha as opposed to any other? Why not mention the prohibition to water plants, to trap animals, or to carry? So Rabbi Tzvi Dov Kanatowski offers something. He says that we should look at the golden calf, because after all, fire was used to forge the golden calf, which is a representation of man's technical skill and emotional drive. So Shabbat represents man's ability to curb his desire for mastery of his environment. To quote Rav Kanatowski, if man learns that his power and mastery are limited, the door to idolatry is, to a great extent, closed. I think that the Torah uses fire here as to teach us a fundamental lesson about using both written and oral law to derive halacha. The Karaites are infamous for rejecting all oral tradition and are often the subject of Divrei Torah as the Jews who don't eat cholent. If we were to interpret this commandment without the Torah Shebaal Peh, one would suffer every weekend without lights or heat in the home and cold food on the table. But the laws of Shabbat aren't meant to torture us, so why should we suffer? The Talmud teaches us that the prohibition only applies to lighting a fire on Shabbat, but says nothing about maintaining a fire lit before Shabbat. This is why we all use Shabbos lights and timers to light our homes, blechs to eat our food, and we set the thermostat before Shabbat to keep our houses warm. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.